Chapter 191. Part 2 of 6. As expected, we ended up back in the homeland of the cats. Alright, Egypt Part 2, Electric Scootaloo, I said. Let's do this. Many things happened on this trip, my guide said. How much do you remember? Celestia wanted me to babysit 2 useless nobles. She was sending them to Egypt to get rid of them. One ended up being a douche who I kinda murdered. That shocked the other enough to keep her in line. I ended up reconnecting with Kot when we got to the capital. That led to some lewd shenanigans, though I still don't know why I let it happen. Assassins came for the ambassador pretty quickly. I killed one and captured the other. Kot and I tortured him and learned where their contacts were. The king ended up using the info to take down one of his most powerful rivals, putting him solidly in charge. Somewhere in there, I found Taya. Quite a lot, Pride said. I turned and beheld him standing with reason and pain. You did good on this trip. A lot of it. Aside from that murder, Pain said. Although the fellow did deserve it, didn't he? Calyx would have created problems, but that doesn't mean he deserved death, Reason said. But that moment wasn't nearly as formative as finding Taya, was it? Yeah, I figured that would be the highlight of this trip, I said. With maybe a little bit of the relationship with Kot dotted here and there. So, we got any juicy memories? Due to the trauma, Taya's memories of this time are muddled, to say the least, Reason said. So we have no memories from her. We do have memories from Kot and Luna, though. Oh boy, here we go. More crazy cat lady it is, then. Pain giggled and bopped me. Sure enough, Kot and Jocasta stood before me. I was expecting them to be in a room, but instead, we all appeared in the middle of a forest. I didn't see any forests in Egypt, so I'm pretty sure this was the tree thing. Have you heard the news yet? Jocasta asked. I've heard all kinds of news. What's happening this time? Another coup attempt. We're being joined by ambassadors from Equestria. Ooh, that's new. Kot said, leaning forward. Anyone interesting? Your favorite mutant will supposedly be with them. Nav is coming back, my cute little kitty squealed in glee, bouncing in place. I wasn't expecting you to be so excited. Even your tail is wagging. Kot noticed how enthusiastic she looked and seemed to shiver for a moment before calming down. I missed him. And I've wanted to speak to him again. I'm not sure he'll want to speak to you, after everything that you did to him. Time heals all wounds, Kot replied with a shrug. Plus, he's a Tom. I can play him like a fiddle. As long as I get a chance to work on him, he'll be putty in my paws in no time. He doesn't really seem worth it, to me. You could easily do better. Maybe. But he won't be here forever. I might as well have my fun while he is. I'm sure I could talk him into giving you a try, too. Not interested. All the more time for him to spend with me, then, Kot said with a smirk. I bet I can make him take me flying. Yeah, and he'll probably drop you. Be wary of trusting him, Kot. You hurt him and he's dangerous. You might think you can tame him, but there's always the chance he'll plot revenge. Trust me, Nav isn't like that. I know him better than you, remember? Jocasta snorted. Suit yourself. So when are they supposed to get here? They're already at the embassy. They'll be coming to the palace this afternoon for a luncheon. I'm sure if you ask, Jim would let you visit. He's going to do more than let me visit, she said. He's going to appoint me the palace liaison to the embassy. And why is he going to do that? Jocasta asked. Because I'm going to tell him that if he doesn't, I'll murder whoever he does appoint. And then I'll keep doing it until he chooses me instead. I'll see you later, Jocasta. I have a king to speak to. The memory ended just like that. Well, that's pretty spooky, I said. I didn't realize she was doing so much to manipulate me, but it's not surprising at all. How does this new revelation make you feel? Pain asked. Did it hurt? Not really. Like I said, it wasn't surprising. Caught being batshit crazy isn't really news. Although I do really wonder why Caught seemed to be affected so strongly by me. None of the others were. And you don't think that this is something you should take a moment to consider? Reason asked. You now have evidence that Caught was manipulating you. Who the fuck hasn't been manipulating me? Ever since I got here, it's all been one big game to see who could fuck with me the most. I was literally created to be manipulated. Does it piss me off? Kinda a little, yet. But making a big deal over something Caught did to me ages ago seems so petty now. That said, I'm absolutely going to be having a talk with her about this. I know she's still doing it and it needs to stop. It's not like you take pains to fight it, Payne said. You let her do so much without even a thought in your mind. Of course I have thoughts about it. A lot of what she's done recently has made me uncomfortable. Yelling at her seems to have calmed her down some, but I don't like having to do that. And you enjoy the sex, of course, Reason said. I do, but I know I shouldn't. I have too many partners. If I don't end up deciding to get married, I'm definitely going to cut the number of people I sleep with. Caught will be one of them. You seem so sure of what you need to do, Reason said. Why do you need us if you already know what must be done? To be honest, most of what I need to do is common sense. I already know it, I just don't want to have to. I was hoping this would give me the motivation. Seeing all the bullshit people were doing behind my back is definitely helping. I'm tired of being used and manipulated. Good, Pride said with a nod. Then you're ready for the next memory. He reached up and poked me in the face. This time, I beheld Luna and Celestia again. It looked like they were at breakfast. Have you been watching the escapades of your favorite friend? Celestia asked. I do not like spying on him. I usually only do so if I believe he might be in danger. Bullshit. Right, of course. Well, do you remember Caught? Luna's ears twitched. Oh, surely you remember. Nav's cute little desert fling. That is not how he described it. You didn't see the scars on his back. But now I'm starting to question his version of events, because he's been quite willing to do whatever she wants. She doesn't seem to be scratching him now, though. That made Luna's ears twitch even more. Why would Nav spend time around that monster? That's a good question. He's doing more than spending time around her, though. She's shown him around the city, she took him to a few romantic landmarks, he took her flying. It also seems like they're taking every chance they can get to blow off some steam, so to say. Luna's teeth started grinding. I really am surprised you haven't been watching. It's been quite the show. And some of the things he's said have been quite amusing, too. He seems to think he could kill us. What? Why would he even be talking about that? Because he is irreverent and doesn't respect our power. I think he should be punished. And what manner of punishment would you propose? I suggest we make a wager with our little human. We'll give him the chance to try his luck on us. When he utterly fails to assassinate us, he'll hopefully be more humble. Do not count your roosters before they hatch, dear sister, Luna said. We are powerful, but Nav is wily. He thinks very differently than we do. Where you may see security and invulnerability, he may see an opportunity. All the more reason for us to make this wager. If he can find any way to hurt us, we need to know so we can stop it in the future. It does not seem wise. What would you wager? I'm not sure yet. This is your chance to do more with him, Luna. You can make him do anything. Don't waste this opportunity. I do not want to make him love me. If he finds Caught's presence so preferable, perhaps we should banish him to Egypt. Perhaps we should, Celestia said. Let's banish someone with his mind and capabilities to a continent with wide swathes of land where magic doesn't work at all. It's not like there's any way that could ever go poorly or backfire on us at all. What, would you rather continue holding this over me? Luna asked. Continue using it to taunt and tease me? Bringing me to rage by filling me in on his conquests? Whatever do you mean, Luna? Celestia innocently asked. I was just trying to talk about our mutual friend. I thought you might be interested in what he's been up to. And perhaps who he's been up in. I really want to strangle her. Why would she do this to her sister? From the look on Luna's face, she was probably thinking similar things. Unfortunately, she didn't try strangling her sister. Fine, then. We'll do your stupid wager. But do not come crying to me if we both lose and you have to do whatever he asks of you. Believe me, I have nothing to fear from him. He's far too afraid of me to ever take advantage of a wager. You might need to be wary, though. Apparently he's afraid of me, too. Even if I did ask for more as a wager, I doubt he would accept. Then consider starting small. What do you mean? You don't have to ask him for a relationship. Why not just ask him for sex? Luna's face lit up bright red. What? It's obvious you're jealous about Kot. If you sleep with him too, there wouldn't be any reason to be jealous. I thought you did not approve. Sex isn't a relationship. Jump his bones as much as you want, as long as you're discreet. There is only one downside. He isn't attracted to ponies. Then it's a good thing you know a spell to turn into a human. That is a good thing. I wonder how I would look. So be it, then. I shall make a wager with the human. When I win, he will add a princess to his list of conquests. Good. I think I know just what I should ask for, too. It's good to treat myself every once in a while. What exactly does that mean? Luna slowly asked. I think I'll make the same wager. If the way he treats cats is anything like the way he treats humans, I think I'll be in for a fun time. Luna's mouth dropped. The memory ended there. So wait, I'm confused, I said. Why did Celestia tell Luna to fuck me and then turn around and do the same thing? We don't have access to her memories, but I can make a few semi-educated guesses, Reason said. First, Celestia didn't want you and Luna to be together. If they both made the same wager, you wouldn't look into it as much. Second, one of the ways that Celestia kept Luna under control was by taking away everyone who was close to her. By sleeping with you after you had been with Luna, and making the experience considerably more enjoyable, she did a lot to bring you closer. And the third option, which is my favorite, is that the princess liked watching you sling dick so much that she just had to try it, Pride said. I lifted up a hand and he high-fived it without missing a beat. Ah yeah. It's possible she just wanted to hurt or punish Luna, Pain said. Punish her for what? I asked. Falling in love with you, obviously. This is Celestia blatantly showing off how little you care about Luna's feelings for you. You were happy to sleep with the sister of the mayor who bared her soul to you. That's hyperbolic and not at all fair. The way they worded the deal to me is that they were both lonely and wanted some physical comfort. They both made it clear that they wanted some down and dirty porkin'. I did know that Luna wanted my hot human bod, but I think it was fair to assume, at least at the time, that if they talked about coming up with the deal together, they were fine with whatever the results ended up being. Why would I assume sleeping with Celestia would break Luna's heart when they collaborated to come up with the idea? Because it's the sister of the mayor who loved you, Reason said. And yet you never even considered how this might affect her, did you? I did, but it was only later. The question then becomes, would I have slept with Celestia anyway, even if I knew it would hurt Luna? I didn't want a relationship with Luna, but I never wanted to hurt her. A part of me also questioned the wisdom of turning down a proposition from Celestia, though I really doubt she would have done anything had I said no. Thinking back, sleeping with them both was definitely a bad idea. Although another part of me has always wanted to try it with both at once. Even the ancient are not immune to jealousy, Pride said. Apparently they also aren't immune to petty cat fighting. I posit that sleeping with either of them was a terrible idea, Reason said. You should have done as much as you could to avoid them entirely. All sex did was give them another reason to want to keep you around. That's actually a really good point. I've let my dick get me into a lot of trouble. And your vagina? We'll get to that later. Thankfully, problems like this will hopefully crop up less when I stop being such a slut. Assuming you can manage it, Payne said with a smirk. Of course. So, do we get to talk about Taya here or are we going to wait for another time? My guide slid behind me and placed her tendrils on my shoulders. When you found her, Taya was lost. Alone. Utterly terrified with nowhere to go. When you pulled her off that street, you became that filly's entire world. And yet you wanted nothing more than to get rid of her. That guilt has never left you. It hasn't, I said. I couldn't leave her there. That just wasn't an option. But I knew I wouldn't be the right person to help her get better. I had a feeling that all I could do was make things worse. It became a self-fulfilling prophecy, Reason said. But we aren't there yet. Is that the only reason you didn't want her? Obviously not. I was planning on killing myself sometime after I got back. Getting Taya forced on me meant I had to stay alive for her. She also felt like a leash around my neck, held by Celestia. It meant I couldn't stay away from home for as long, but I always had to come back. And of course, not only did I have a feeling I would make her worse, I didn't even want to try to make her better. I wanted to get rid of her, preferably as quickly as possible. The only reason I didn't leave her at the embassy in Egypt is because I knew she would find her way into the king's pocket. Why? My guide asked. I had a feeling she already knew the answer, though. I hate the idea of someone being dependent on me. Of someone relying on me. I know in the end, all I'll ever be able to do is let them down. That's dumb as fuck, Pride said. Seems pretty accurate to me, Payne replied with a shrug. I mean, look at what she did to that poor filly. It's the self-hatred, Reason said. There doesn't need to be a reason and it doesn't need to make sense. Be honest, when have you truly let someone down? I guess that really depends, I said. I've definitely disappointed a lot of people, but usually when someone is actually depending on something I do what's expected of me. I'm really good at it in the short term, but not so much in the long term. The longer my relationships tend to go on, the worse they usually end up being because of how abrasive and shitty my personality is. And then you blame it on other things like letting others down so you don't have to change anything about how terrible you are, Payne said with a nod. It makes perfect sense. She really gets me, I said. That's probably not a good thing. We all really get you, Reason said. We just get different parts of you based on what we represent. She understands the things that cause you pain, like your self-hatred. So if I kill her, will all my pain go away? We have no way of knowing what exactly it would do, Fake Twilight said. But if I had to guess, I'd say it would erase your ability to comprehend pain. Specifically emotional and mental pain. I don't think it would deaden your actual nerve endings. I say you go for it, Pride said. You'd be better off without her. Go ahead and put me out of your misery, Payne sweetly said, lifting her head to bare her neck. I won't even try and stop you. I'm not actually going to, I said. Just curious. But yeah, that does make sense. Generally speaking, I'm not a very nice person and I tend to drive people away. And instead of trying to fix the things about me that force peeps out, I make up excuses. Although I guess letting them down would also be something about myself I could fix, but still. And you didn't want to end up driving Taya away, so you wanted to get rid of her before she became too close, Reason said. I guess that's part of it. To be honest, I never really imagined her staying with me as an option that Celestia would even consider, up until Luna mentioned it and Celestia made it official. I figured they wouldn't want me in charge of a pony. That seems like a fair assumption, Reason said. The ponies are, for the most part, fairly racist. So I guess all in all, I didn't want Taya to stay with me because I knew I would end up either breaking her horribly or driving her away. I don't think I was mature enough to really handle a filly, especially not one who got so attached so quickly. And do you really think that's changed? Payne asked. I never said it did. That said, I'm definitely more mature now than I used to be, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm capable of raising someone. Anyone can raise a kid, Pride said. Raising them right is the hard part. Good thing humans are the best at everything. Even failing. I ask. Well, you blew yourselves up with nukes, so I guess. That's kind of fair. So, what's the takeaway from this? Don't trust Cot, Payne said. All she wants to do is manipulate and use you. Can't deny that. Killing Celestia was the right move, Pride said. She was cruel and conniving. Makes sense. You never wanted Taya, Reason said. There was nothing wrong with that. But you were given Taya. You should have changed to help raise her properly, but you didn't. You were given talk after talk and chance after chance, but you never seemed to make the effort to change. I wish I could say I tried my best, but I don't really know if that's true. I mostly let her just stagnate. I also typically had excuses not to spend time with her. Right now, she seems happy but unstable. And the immortality is horrifying. I have a feeling in about 10 years, she's going to be sick of being my little filly. We aren't quite there yet, my guide said. We will discuss that in time. All right. So I was a failure of a parent from the very start. Is it time to move on? Is that really what you're taking away from this? Reason asked. It's what you're saying, isn't it? I never wanted Taya, and when I got her, I did nothing to change myself to be a better parent for her. That makes me a failure of a parent. I'd have to agree, Payne said. Pride shrugged. Reason sighed and lowered her head. You really don't need to give her ammo. Sometimes the truth is painful. That doesn't mean it shouldn't be sought out. And in this case, the truth is that I am not a good parent. And the truth always sets you free, my guide said, finally pulling her watery hands away. Just like that, we flashed off. End of part 2.